Hello and welcome to my presentation on the Assemblies of God governance. This was part of a larger course that had to do with the Assemblies of God missions, how the Assembly of God got started, and how the Assemblies of God evolved. But concerning myself, I'd never really been part of a congregation that had experienced or had known about governance at all myself until just about this course, really. So I'm going to spend this presentation discussing the different forms of governance and what the AG governance is like in particular. So let's get to it. First off, what is church governance or polity? It's the ruler, it's the way that your particular congregation is directed and guided, how authority is implemented within the locality. And obviously, this goes without saying, first and foremost, our head of any church is Christ. So hence my fancy little picture there of, Christ the Redeemer almost. So I wanted to just really put that out there first because there is no church without Christ. He is the head. He is the one we get all our direction from. He is the true model, so to speak. So I don't want to just put that out there and say, yeah, I have to say this because I really mean it. Without him, we don't have a church. And without taking our instruction from Christ, we really are going to pay the price, so to speak. Okay, now that that's been said and it's out of the way, we can talk about the other models, or what we call the formal models. There's the Episcopal model, the Presbyterian model, and then the congregational model, which is what we have here. Classic examples of the Episcopal model are going to be the Roman Catholic Church. Classic examples of the Presbyterian model are the Presbyterian Reformed. And then congregational models are typically like Baptist or Mennonite churches. And we'll kind of discuss what each of those models is exactly and how they lead. So let's start with Episcopal model. I had to look this up. This is from gotquestions.org. And the Episcopal model is something I'd never known of before formally. I've obviously had lots of exposure to the Roman Catholic Church just because it arguably is the most famous church in the world, and I know about the Pope, and so does 90% of the globe. But what is it exactly? Well, Episcopal is like from this Greek word episkopos, which is translated as bishop or overseer. And this is a form of church government that functions essentially with a central leader, a single leader, and that leader is obviously called a bishop. The Roman Catholic Church is the most well-known of the Episcopal type churches. The Pope is known as the Bishop of Rome. So he's the singular head, so to speak. Below him are other bishops who are in turn responsible for other bishops down to the parish priests. So he's ruling the entire organization, you can say, and then subsets of the organization have their own bishops, but they're all going to be responsible to the bishops above them. So that's the Episcopal model. Next, we have the Presbyterian model. This is a little bit different. The word Presbyterian is from the Greek word presbyteros, which is usually translated elder. So you could call this what the AG position paper put, maybe an eldership model, where it's a form of government that's not resting on one single individual, but with the body of elders or presbyters. So instead of just one person, leadership is kind of dissipating a little bit to a select few. How those select few are chosen are often elected by the congregation at large, but once the congregation has ratified who they have determined to be their elders, then they can't overturn any decisions. The elders are the ones in charge. Next is the congregational model. Kind of hinted at it there. You see how the structure is breaking down, so to speak? It's getting more and more, quote unquote, democratic. The Episcopal model was, resting in one person, power resting in one person. Presbyterian, it's resting in a few. Now the congregational model, as you might have guessed, rests in the congregation. This is where everyone essentially is going to take part in voting on decisions within the church. What to do with the church, who to hire as the lead pastor, who to have as the board, what to do with financing. Congregational churches are absolutely wonderful because they're representative of the democratic process. But, each and every one of these models has a downfall. With the Episcopal Church, the downfall is all the powers in one person. With the Presbyterian Church, all the power is with the elders, and you do have some sort of dissipation of power, but your congregation may not be as willing to engage because they just see others as leaders. Within the congregational model, you don't really often get much happening with leadership. It's slow to move and slow to get anything done. The historical model at AG has been the congregational model, although it does offer flexibility, like with the eldership model. The only thing is that they exercise caution, because once you swing the pendulum one way, it's really hard to go back, and it can cause a lot of topsy-turviness in your church. So those are the 3 church structures that I learned about in this presentation. I hope you enjoyed.